of this offseason, I want to see Giannis Antetokounmpo in a competitive situation, which means pretty much that Milwaukee has to decide what they're going to do with this dude going forward. And that answer cannot be sitting pat. They have to either do it the best they can to build a competitive team around him with the limited resources they have and be creative in that trade market and that free agent market, or they have to send him somewhere where he can really be vying for a championship. Now, we don't know what Giannis really wants to do quite yet. He has an eye on the Bucks situation, but it would be a disservice to him as, at worst, the third best player in the league, putting up 32, 12, and 6 to not be competitive for a championship pretty much every year for the rest of his career, whether that's Milwaukee or somewhere else. Something has to be done and decided in the next few weeks.
Yeah, he's under contract until the 2026-27 season with a $62.8 million player option for 27-28. Appreciate you, Doug.
Milwaukee Bucks. What's going on there?
Let's be clear here. He has not asked for a trade. The Bucks are not looking to trade him. Having said that, a lot of the league is keeping an eye on what will happen. The Bucks have 7 free agents. They really right now don't have a team that they could put together in any form. They have 4 core free agents. They were already a team that is going to be struggling to replace Dame Lillard for the majority, if not all of this season. They need a starting level point guard. So they have a lot of problems. They don't have good assets. They don't have salary cap space. They don't have draft assets to trade. And so the Bucks have stitched together repeatedly contending teams. Combined with Giannis playing like an MVP, they become a contender. They're coming off a season where they finished 5th in the Eastern Conference. That is not a great position, and they are going to struggle to bring their whole team back without Dame Lillard. So the league is wondering, if this doesn't look like a contending team in a month, will Giannis revisit his position of keeping hands off? And that is one of the big things that could define this offseason in the NBA.
Tim, what do you think things will look like for the Bucks in a month?
Well, when Brian goes through that list of things, they don't have a lot of talent currently on the roster. They're going to have trouble keeping the current talent on the roster. They don't have a lot of draft picks to add to the roster, and they don't have free agency money to add to the roster. It's not exactly a rosy picture for what this team can do over the next several weeks. Now, we've seen General Manager Jon Horst, the Milwaukee Bucks, be very aggressive in the past. He's been able to go out and make moves when people didn't think they could. They went and got Drew Holiday a few years ago, helped to win a title. They went and got Dame Lillard a couple of summers ago. So certainly the Bucks have shown an ability to be aggressive in the past, to find ways to make moves. Even last summer, they got Gary Trent to sign for the minimum, a guy who people thought was going to sign an 8-figure per year deal when the summer began. So they have shown an ability to go get players. They do have playing time to offer. They do have playing next to Giannis Antetokounmpo as a carrot to offer. That's certainly something that can make guys look a lot better and get them paid more in the future. We saw that happen with Malik Beasley, who went on to sign with the Detroit Pistons last summer for more money. Like, they have things they can't offer, but this is a very difficult needle to thread for the Bucks to be good enough to really contend, even in the Eastern Conference, where you have Jason Tatum out for the year, you have Tyrese Halliburton out for the year, probably with Achilles tears. Difficult puzzle for the Bucks to try to solve over here over the next few weeks.
I keep on coming back to that Damian Lillard injury in the Indiana series here, and if that didn't happen, I think we're probably talking about Milwaukee in a little bit of a different light here. But he's going to be out for a significant period of time. They need a point guard here. It's basically what the league is telling you. You have $14 million. How do you want to go spend it? You want to go spend it and bring Gary Trent Jr. back, or do you want to go out and bring back a point guard here? The interesting thing will be is they got their finances in order. Would they go into the luxury tax to bring back this roster and also use that big exception here? We'll wait and see as far as if they do that.
And if they don't, is Giannis going to be in a position where he's going to want out, or should?
Well, listen, we saw during the Kevin Durant trade that there were teams that did not go all in. Whether it be San Antonio, whether it be a team like the New York Knicks, there will be teams lined up if that ever does happen. This man is very loyal to his organization. He has been. He signed multiple extensions in the past. But I do think you get to a point, whether it be in a week or 2 weeks, where you look at this roster and you're going to have to evaluate, is this good enough here?
You mentioned the Knicks. That's the last team we want to hit on here in our
Now that Kevin Durant has been traded to the Rockets, all eyes are on Giannis. And while he's still under contract with the Bucks, unless he's given an extension, trade speculation will continue to percolate around him. The Eastern Conference has been significantly impacted by injuries during this year's playoffs, with multiple players suffering Achilles tears. These injuries could reshape the landscape of the conference, opening the door for other teams to contend for the NBA Finals. Okay, so Stephen A., based on all these injuries in the East, is that more of a reason for Giannis to leave or to stay?
For me, it's to leave. Personally speaking, I mean, I'm thinking about Miami. I'm thinking about a couple of other potential ones that could better position him. But I understand, listen, his loyalty to Milwaukee is unquestioned. I'm just looking at Milwaukee's limitations, particularly with Dame injured and with how cap-strapped they are with the draft picks, or them being bereft of the necessary draft picks and what have you that you would need in order to improve your squad. It's not the city of Milwaukee per se. It's the organization and how they went all in and how it didn't work out. And now what can you do moving forward in the future in terms of mobility to improve your chances? It can't just be because other people are injured. You might want to go to another organization that can maximize that opportunity instead of staying in Milwaukee. That's why I feel the way that I feel. I doubt that he feels that way, but that's how I'm thinking about it.
Heath, let me just clarify the question before you go there. Is it more of a reason for Giannis to stay in Milwaukee rather than leave, based on all these other injuries in the East?
I would keep it short term on this situation. I would say I would stay, right? I would see what the next year looks like, because there's so many questions that has to be answered on the East. Like, the team you have now, move some pieces around, you can compete with those teams on the East. Now it's the West that you're going to have a problem with. So being as though like you have 1 year to kind of get some feel of what it's going to look like. You bring Dame back next year, not really sure what he's going to look like. Right now is just the part of your career where the way the East is transpired that you should just stay, move some pieces around, see what it look like next year, and then come back with the decision again next year based off of what has transpired in the East.
Let's talk some facts before we get into anything else. The Bucks have 7 free agents. 7, 3 or 4 of which I would refer to as core players, okay? The Bucks do not have salary cap space, okay? The Bucks do not control their first-round draft pick for the next 5 years. They can't trade it. They can't trade the pick or the swap, okay?
Wow.
The Bucks are in a situation where they cannot count on Dame Lillard for next year. Maybe he can come back, but they cannot count on it. The Bucks are not interested right now in trading Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Giannis, to our knowledge, my belief, has not asked for a trade. Those are the facts. Okay. Now, we are also before the draft. We are before free agency. Will the Bucks do some things over the next 2-3 weeks to put themselves in a position where they can look like they could win the Eastern Conference with those limitations? Maybe.
Highly
maybe.
unlikely.
Right. So that's why the league is waiting. People want to know, why aren't the Knicks going all in for Kevin Durant? Why aren't the Heat going all in for Kevin Durant? Because in part, there's other reasons, but in part, they want to see what happens here with the Bucks. And we're going to be watching closely.
Well, the team that should be having that position